it's okay, no problem. Okay, what's your story? Oh, she just wanted to lie in the table.
No, when you were discussing about, like, I mean, you know, generally I'm actually a pretty nervous person.
Yes.
And I'm suffering from a lot of poor memory right now.
Poor memory, okay.
And, yeah, and lately my neck has just been so tight.
What's your blood pressure?
On the side. I don't know exactly what it is on the side.
How old are you? 42. Okay. By the way, older patients, did you see what she just did?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Older patients, Avi goes like this, and 3 minutes later he goes like this. Yeah. No, you're shy. Well, you know, it's okay. You said yourself you're nervous. Also, she has clammy hand. She's probably on autonomic nervous system. Now, by the way, I don't know if you saw what happened when I was talking and she was about to come on the table and then she backed out. I don't know if I can imitate you exactly, but there was something. Watch my hands. It was like there was a tightness in the hand. Okay, so you kind of like it was almost like a little spastic gesture. So all sorts of things that, you know, I'm just telling you what I look at. By the way, the other thing I look at, the first thing I do with every person, I touch their feet. Okay, I don't know why, I can't quite, you know, the thing is the feet are the base, your foundation, and when we talk about inner yin, we'll talk about that also. I'm fascinated by feet. Okay, me personally.
Would cold and sweaty feet be the same thing as
Could
sweaty
be.
hands as far as autonomic?
Yeah, the sweaty, yeah, the cold, no, because the cold could be bad circulation.
So people who
She
sweat
doesn't have.
easily, that would be similar to
People
the
who sweat easily, if it's hand and feet, it's different if it's the whole body.
Yeah.
Whole body could be either cardiac or kidney issues,
Okay.
detoxification issues, whereas hands and feet is specifically autonomic nervous issues. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Medical history?
Nothing really that stands out.
Okay, so where does the neck hurt?
It's left shoulder into the sides.
Okay, so since she says left, my first question is, usually I ask them to fill, that's it, by the way, another trick. I ask them to fill a form, which it's actually on my website, it's a total takeover from Kiiko's form. I'm not embarrassed to say, and it's actually in Kiiko's book, I believe also. You know, so why should I invent my own form? And I never sit at the same place that they're filling the form out, because then they're going to start talking. I want them to think and figure out what happened to them, and I want them to figure out what's important for them. And the only thing I tell them is, try to do it in bullet form, because I don't want to read the whole story. You know, people sometimes don't know how to spell something, and they start telling you a whole story. Give it a name, and you can tell me what that name means afterwards, but I want them to dig without latching on to me as I'm doing it, okay? So, you know, everybody has different approaches, but I want to see the medical history in writing, if possible. I don't want to talk about it, okay? I mean, I'll talk to them, because I do talk to them, you know, I'm kind of official, that does talk, but I want to also have it in a way they have 5 minutes to think about their lives and figure out what's important. Some people tell me about their pregnancies, some people tell me about their mother dying, that's a medical, everybody's different. And some people, I had somebody who forgot to tell me they had a pacemaker, and I even asked him, I said, everything left-sided, any heart disease in the family? No. He gets on the table. Excuse me, what is this box? Oh, it's my pacemaker. What? It's like, I asked you if you have something in the family. People forget, they just don't think. So that's acceptable. Well, it's not exactly acceptable. If somebody wants to take a pulse, you're welcome.
To take her pulse?
Yeah, if you want. I do take pulse on my Kiiko, and I wouldn't take it this way. In my opinion, either here or here, here is better probably, because it's supposed to be level of the heart, right? So you would probably define this pulse as thin and wiry, right? I'm not touching your side, but I'm assuming. And there's something vulnerable, there's something there that's not, it kind of goes, right? I'm not trying to put you on the spot. Don't worry, this is not school. You're allowed to say something totally different. And when you press it, something else happens in that pulse. When you press it deep. So when you just touch the pulse, it's like, but and it has a vulnerability to it. Then when you press it, it changes quality. It becomes a little bit wider. Is that correct? Nagano said that autonomic nervous system pulse should be, he called tight pulse, meaning it's, he didn't say thin, but it's what a lot of TCM people would call a wiry pulse, thin and there's sort of a sharpness to it, but when you press on it, he said, disappears in pressure. That was the main quality of it, is that it disappears in pressure. My take, my own, and I'm not competing with Nagano, he clearly knew way more than I did about pulses, for sure about pulses. He may not have known Hebrew, but he knew more about pulses. You know, it doesn't have to disappear, it changes quality, it often becomes wider. Okay, so that becomes wider. Now in hertz, it's not going to become super wide, just because our capacity in pulse is not very wide. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I generally think of that as an autonomic nervous system pulse. Okay. And I already have, now, so I was going to ask you about cardiac issues in the family, heart disease in the family. Because left-sided I start thinking heart, right-sided I start thinking liver. I'm just asking the question, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, the honest truth is, I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
My family doesn't talk about that stuff. That's why.
Okay.
I know there's a lot of high blood pressure in my family.
Okay, so there's a lot of high blood pressure, but you have low blood pressure. Okay, that immediately puts her in a category of autonomic nervous system disorder. Why? Because when you go through menopause, there's a possibility you will flip to high also. Yeah, sorry. Don't shoot the messenger, please. It's very common that, you know, because the low blood pressure doesn't come from the family, she's opposite of the family. And yet, you know, so there's a chance that something else will happen. Okay. Anything else besides, how long have you had this left neck pain?
It's recent, but it comes and goes. I tend to, my neck will spasm at times, whether I'm in stretch a cough, or I'm really stressed.
Okay.
For whatever reason.
Okay, all right.
And it could be either side.
Oh, but right now it's left.
Right.
Okay. All right. So, let me check abdomen first.
So in general, in Japanese acupuncture, the pulse is not taken in the wrist? Is that what you were saying?
No. What do you mean the pulse is not taken? Oh no, Kiiko doesn't take a lot of pulses, generally speaking.
Okay.
And when she does, it's for rapid, slow. I do know the Japanese are obsessed with pulse. So everything is, I can, oh, da da da, oh, ba ba ba, do da da. I don't know what they're talking about. How can you tell? I mean, no, for me, I believe that someone like Nagano was capable to touch a point and say that the pulse changed, but because of touch. A lot of the Toyohari people claim they did. They did a 5-weekend class, and their beginning acupuncture is really relative for my and they tell me that they can touch a point, they can feel that the pulse changed. I touch the pulse and the pulse changes all the time. How can I have the confidence that my finger did this? I mean, that takes tremendous, so I understand someone like Nagano, when you've had many, many years of experience, I understand that you can trust what you're doing. But me, I have 20 years experience, I don't trust it. I'm sorry, I just can't trust. But I'm trusting that I'm feeling something, but I'm not going to do the diagnosis, I'm not doing the diagnosis from the pulse, I'm just keeping it in mind, and I'm not going to press a point and say, oh, the pulse is better. Maybe the pulse is better, but I can't say it's because of my point. I can't be sure. Okay, so until I'm sure, which may never happen in this lifetime for me, it's not useful enough.
So you
abdomen is.
You just feel.
I'm just feeling it in
qualities?
class. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a problem with pulse because what happened is that we went to school and they forced you to say that there's this and this and this for every single person. The truth is, most people you're not going to feel anything that useful with. For most of us, unless you're really 90 years old and really young. Most of us are going to feel the pulse and go, okay, doesn't mean anything to me. Every so often there'll be something and you'll say, oh, yeah, that means something. But the problem is we were taught this idea that every pulse should mean something to you. And my experience is it doesn't always, or for my level of understanding. I'm not at the level of capacity that everything means something to me. We should move on because it's hard for you to be here without something happening. I know. For her type. Some people, they'll fall asleep. She gets anxious. Okay. So I'll show you when I check for an anxious type person, but before then, let's go to what we did. So these are just my fingers. No big deal, right? So I want you to know what my fingers feel like, okay? Now, so, let's see. Now she has a pulse already in Mokitsu, which is quite far. Okay, usually. Yeah, okay, but you have a pulse here.
Oh, okay.
That's the point. Okay, anything here? Yes. Okay, wait, excuse me, hold on. Dinging, first of dinging. Okay, dinging, is that clearer?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. How about this side? Okay. So sometimes I have to encourage people, because they, it's. Okay. And the thing is, it's all pulsing, especially on the left side. The pulsing will tend to move towards the left. Okay. We call Ren 9 pulse. It really should be called Ren 8 pulse because Ren 8's name is Shen Shui, the watchtower of the Shen. This is the Shen, which is in the blood. The residence of the Shen is in the blood, is spreading too much. Okay? Now, it may mean a number of different things. It may mean that she has a weak dantian. It may mean that she has, the heart can't contain the emotions. It could be a number of different possibilities. Okay. Yes, okay, so more Ren 6-ish. Okay. How about uterus? Kidney 13 is uterus. Ovary? I have no reason to check, I'm just doing it for demo. Okay. Uterus? Because unlike 19th century doctors, I don't think everything is hysteria. Okay? So, now, so Ren 9 is already an emotional reflex, and you have something here. Okay? Originally we called sadness reflex, but the pulsing is also a separate story. Okay? The emotions are not being contained, the blood is not being contained. It can be weak small intestine, weak tissue, which I don't think she fully has. The tissue is actually there, but why am I feeling the aorta all the way up here? I mean, if somebody wants to just put their hand very slightly here, you'll feel two things. You'll feel the pulse, literally the pulse, but you'll also feel a vibration. Okay, it's okay. Your nervous system is
No, it's
like
okay.
that.
No,
You're not born that way or whatever.
I'm interested.
Okay. So if somebody just wants to just put your hand very lightly. Don't press. Don't nothing. Just put it. Don't play too much. Just go. When you needle, so some people with certain trainings, shiatsu trainings or Japanese acupuncture training, they come and they do the needles. Just fucking get the needle in. Jesus, what are you doing? It tortures the patient. What are you kidding? And then they try and tell, this system is rough. Okay, this is not overly refined Japanese, super technological, like really, so if people want to, I say, just put your hand on, they go, just put your hand on and don't press, that's all. When I press, this is not, don't get too shy. Did you feel?
Oh yeah, very clear.
Okay. Okay, if you want to get into the aura of the person, I know, you have all sorts of ideas. Touch them somewhere else first, and then move. But no, there's a reason I'm telling you, because I've taught this to many people, and the people who get they never get it. I want to try and break this down for you now. Just go, and back out if you need to. Okay, this is a much more aggressive style than what a lot of people talk about as Japanese acupuncture. Do you feel?
Feel the vibration.
Okay. Do you feel the pulse or something?
The pulse not so much as the vibration.
Okay. Relax. Can you face me? Come a little bit. Take the legs wider. Okay. Can you feel the pulse now?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Small little toy dogs.
The shaking is one thing. Are you cold?
No, I'm not called that.
So just to explain to you what I did with him, because this will come up for some of you, not for all of you. He was doing something like this. Okay? This to me is like I'm out there. And people do it because they're trying to be sensitive, and what it does is it does exactly the opposite, in my opinion. Okay? So remember, I'm a Jewish mother. I am this. Okay? I am not this. This is also what happens in my shoulder. I'm putting tension. So and the table's low. I'm sorry. I put it a little bit too low. it was so high that I just move into the person and watch me. Don't watch my hands a lot. I am moving into her in my mind and in my heart and in my body. Okay? So I'm not so afraid of invading people. So if you're a little too afraid, now what happens is you're still back here, and then it's not comfortable. When he first touched you versus the second time he touched you, which was more comfortable? You don't remember.
I don't remember.
Fine.
You're extending or you're receiving?
I don't speak that kind of language, so I can't say. I'm doing both. I mean, just be aware that we may speak different language. I need to have my hand in such a way that I can, what I call receive, I can hear what's happening. But I also need to, for example, I'm pushing a point. I need to be able to do both at the same time, which is why the arm has to be very free.
This specific particular listening.
In this case, I don't do this one everyone. It just happened. I happen to notice, but in this particular case, I'm listening. I'm not trying to transmit anything to her. Yeah. But yeah, watch out. You use too much New Age stuff with me, and I'll go berserk. So, if you've ever anyone who's been to Kiiko's class, you know how she loses temper really fast if the communication isn't quite. No, because it's hard for her. It's hard when you're teaching. You try to tune into each person's language. I'm just telling you, certain languages I don't get tuned into, and if you keep asking the same way, you may lose me altogether. I try not. I don't get quite. I try not to get explosive necessarily, but it's hard as a teacher really to be able to tune to what each person's language really is. Okay. So Ren 9 originally called sadness reflex. Okay. Then Ren 15. Oh yeah. Okay. We call worry reflex. Jeez, if I'm right. And did you turn off the gas at home? I just want to see it. No, it was a cruel joke. How about 17? Hold on. No, not 17. Okay, wait. Don't compare one.
Okay,
That's another thing the patients will do. They'll compare one to the other. Each point is its own point. Don't compare it to the treatment point. Don't compare it to anything. Okay. Is there anything here? Any discomfort? I know this is icky. Gotcha. Is this something? Okay, Ren 17, so we call anxiety, worry, sadness. I also want to check 12. Yes. She has pulsing all the way up, not quite at 15, but at 12 she still has pulsing. That's not a good sign. Okay, so I'm just, maybe something cardiac, but it's just a little, it's not held well. And you also, those of you who took classes, I think you probably felt the same sort of unheldedness. That vulnerability I was talking about was in the muscles. Okay. So we have enough to work right now on the abdomen. I just want to check to be good teacher. Liver side, skin side. Any difference? Both?
Both, more liver.
Okay, more liver. Okay, fine. 1 second. Okay, so those of you more familiar with Kiiko likes this liver one. I don't. Sorry. I like the normal liver one to check first. How's up? Okay, she's clearly autonomic nervous system. She can't give clear answers.
Yes.
No, okay, it's okay. It's enough. Let's try the moxa liver one. How's that? No change.
Yeah.
Okay, forget it. It really comes from the neck, not much more. Okay. So you said, let me check the SCM. So I'll do this first. 1, 2, 3. 2?
3.
3? Okay. I don't want you to believe, I want you to know. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 3 also. Okay. And scalings on this side. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You really hated this side.
No, I'm going to say 1, actually.
Okay. 1. Okay, you're slow responding because it was when I pressed on between 2 and 3.
I was processing.
Okay, wait, okay. That's another thing. You have to tell the patient, especially like that, do not process anything from your body to your mouth without the brain. It's not your concern. You'll have the video. It's not for you to think about, because then you're not responding. Does that, no.
Yeah, no,
I just want you to know,
no,
you may not be able to do it.
So,
It's okay.
yeah, okay.
Okay. Wait. Didn't you say you work with Taka?
I do.
Okay. But he doesn't work on you, so you don't know. Okay. Okay, so now I'm on the cervicals. Okay, so I'm going on my side, the left side, from the top of the neck down.
So the Watto line or?
Watto line. 1, 2, 3, yes, 4, 5. It seems like 3, 4, 5. Yeah, yeah, because I can feel almost like Kiiko calls it chewing, like somebody chewed gum and stuck it on the vertebrae. Okay, there's this extra tissue. Okay. I'm gonna go on their side, so I'm going from under. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 and 3. Yeah. Okay. Now, but your pain you're saying is more spread. Right? You said liberator. So it's more. Your pain is more like here.
It really is all of it. I mean, now that I feel it day to day in the SCM and the feelings.
Okay.
But when it's palpated,
Mm-hmm.
I'll feel it in the body.
Okay. So you're feeling it here. All of them.
Yes.
Okay. No, that's fine. Okay. Just remember what it feels. Fine. Okay. Let's get you started. Is there anyone here who is a Nazi about alcohol? I'm asking, I want to be respectful. Okay, apparently not. It's at least the way I asked it. It did not infuse anybody to say yes. Please, you. By the way, personally I don't use salines anymore in my clinic. I recommend to you, if you're starting using thinner needles, this is number 2, I prefer number 1, Don Banks, 30 millimeters. The reason I demonstrate often with salines, but actually Don Banks are, they're a lot less expensive, and just very, very sensitive person, or spleen 3 out, for example, I'll do it with saline. But I used to use salines. I use 2x40s rather than 1x30s, except certain points I use 1x30s. So, but honestly, I'll show you later. I put the needles in a cup, and I use 10 needles with 1 guide tube. It's the easiest way to do things. Are you okay with needles generally?
I generally don't like them, but
Okay.
I do it anyway.
You do it anyway, great. Okay. So, you had here, okay, and she has the palsy, okay. Any pain, kidney 2? Yes, okay. Pain kidney 2 dictates what?
Autonomic?
No,
Sorry.
fire point.
Fire point, sorry.
Basic
Sorry.
modes. I'm just a minute. Okay. So kidney 7. Are you okay? Hi, how's now?
I feel it still.
Okay. The worst answer anybody can ever give you is I feel it still. It doesn't mean anything. How much do you feel? Okay, no.
Because it's really subtle as well. I mean, when you first did it, so.
This is your baseline. I want to know, I understand you still feel it. I don't care that you still, I'm okay with you still feeling it. I want to know if it's somewhat better and by how much. So go back to 2nd grade and give me percentages. And it's okay if it's still 100% there.
Kicking more. Just a little bit of a change. The percentage you want?
Yes, that's what I said.
Give it about a 5.
A 5, okay, fine. 5 doesn't mean jack shit. Okay. So what does this say? Okay. Should be fixed to some extent by, I mean, I could go and check another kidney point, and so just for the sake of it, let's do it. Hi, how's now? No. It's better. Kidney 9 is better. So give me a percentage.
Oh, I'll move on to 40.
40% better, okay, in spite of the kidney 2 pain. So you see that the dogma is not always quite useful. Okay. Do you remember now, scalings is supposed to be spleen 3. Now, do I really want to needle spleen 3 in her? Probably not, but I will if I have to. But you had 1, 2, 3, which one?
It was, I believe it was 2 last time, and
What
when
is it
when
now?
you went through it, it's actually much better, percentage.
I'm not even pressing, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
but.
so tell me what
yeah.
there is. Here?
Mhm.
Okay, now I'm pressing. House 3.
It's much better.
Much better. Okay, so kidney 9 is better for her. Now why? Even though she has kidney 2 pain, kidney 9 is waving meridian, right? Okay. Yin Wei. I knew there was something wrong when I said it. Yin Wei meridian, meaning it's the connection. How do I connect in my body? Remember, she's the one that can connect with her body. Also, the name of the point is guest house. How do I play guest in my own house? Okay, very important point. That's why it's good for detox. Get rid of the toxins so that I can play guest in my own house. Okay. I'm not pressing. You had here, right? Yeah?
Yes.
Boom. How's now?
It's much better.
How much is
It's
much?
not as much, 90.
Yeah, you're making the percentage up,
But
but I don't know.
I know, but it's, I am, but it is much better.
Okay. Now, you big one. How's 15 now?
It's about halfway better.
Okay, so something really important in Jubin for her, and kidney 9 for her. Okay? Regardless of the fact that, that's the problem. You get a patient on the table and all the dogmas go out the window. Okay? So. Now, notice that this particular this kidney 9 is a little lower. I mean, because I was sitting, I would have normally taken it here or here. So you can say almost kidney 7, so we can justify, oh yeah, it's really 5 point, blah, blah, blah. So, but I'll use the one that I found already. As long as it's on the kidney channel, it's good enough.
And so basically, you just felt like press and check.
And recheck, yes.
You don't wait a little bit.
No.
So you expect an immediate response.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Immediate. 1 second.
That was,
but, yeah, that's pretty immediate, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, this wasn't so bad for this one, right? It feels bad now.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Told you, autonomic nervous system types. How's bad?
40%.
Okay, yeah. This, I may have to do under the third toe for her because she's autonomic nervous system. Or, Okay. How's 15 now?
It's hard for me to tell, really.
You're going to have to make an effort. Because
Yes, no, I
I'm
know.
waiting and they're
I
waiting.
know, but because I felt like it almost got worse, and I was in my head, and I'm
Okay.
thinking, how can it be?
Okay. Oh, well, it can be. Don't think. I told you. Okay. Okay. You had here, right? Okay. Height. How's now?
It's about 30 better.
Only 30. Okay. That's now.
We're being at 40, that's even better.
Okay. And I'm not pressing on the leg. 1, 2, 3. 3. And now.
That's much better.
We'll start with that. So, actually, you see, this is neither kidney 7 nor 9 as it happens, and it was not meant to be that way. It just happened. Are you okay?
Yes.
So that was the scalene itself, like this.
Yeah, even
That
though it
was not-
should be spleen 3, but kidney 7.
So that was SCN, that was not immunodeficiency.
That I did not even check on her immunity. I didn't have a real great reason to. I mean, if she had a history that said, I used to have lots of infections as a child, maybe that's why her nervous system got berserk. There's a strong connection between immune, adrenal, and autonomic nervous system. You have weak immunity, it's going to eventually, if it keeps going, eventually will call upon the adrenals, and eventually will wear down your autonomic nervous system. The other way around also. If you have weak nervous system, the adrenals will start getting kicked in and eventually will wear down your immune system. The three of them are all often shown together, depending on how long the issue was. I mean, do you have people who have Lyme's, for example, here?
Yeah.
Okay. don't they all look like they're, I mean, not all, but a lot of, there's a personality type in mine, it appears.
I've only treated one, so.
Oh, okay, so, were they a little bit like difficult and demanding?
The most difficult patient I've ever had.
Yeah, it's very, a lot of the chronic diseases are like that, especially the ones that the doctors don't have clear diagnoses for. It wears you down. Okay. You okay? You sure? So that was adrenal. Now let's deal with the spines. Here, right? This reminds me of Jakarta. Stomach 24, right side only, and needle slightly towards the right for the Ren-9 pulse. By the way, anything here?
I'm thinking about that, yes.
Yes, okay. So, and add to it gallbladder 26 on my side, on the left side.
Everybody, yes, it's a good percentage.
How's, okay, the worst one you had is Ren 15, right?
Yes.
Okay, how's it now?
It feels much better.
Much better. Ooh. Are you just saying it for...
No, I'm not. I mean, for me to give you a percentage, it's more difficult.
Okay, you know what, okay, fine, we don't have to give it, you can say, you know, you can alternate your voice, you know, like until it gets ecstatic and you sing Beethoven's Ninth Symphony.
That's easier for me, yes.
Okay, that will work, okay, excellent. No, because when she said much better, I didn't know that I don't really care about percent because I could tell from the voice, okay. How are we doing now?
That's much better.
How closely are we to Ode to Joy?
No, I really can feel the difference. It's
Okay, great. Okay. And how's now the neck?
There's big difference.
Big difference,
Yeah.
okay. Because she's autonomic nervous system, this is one of the main points for the autonomic nervous system. It's under the third toe where the toe meets the body. Okay? So we're going to coordinate it with the breath, okay? So don't do anything yet. I'm going to say take a deep breath. You go, and when I say out, you go. You don't goop. You go. All right, and I'm going to stick the guide tube in like hell. Okay? So deep breath and out. Was that right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's help, and especially if the more noise I make, the better off she is. I don't know why, but it's the reality. Deep breath, oops, sorry, no, relax. Okay. I slipped. Deep breath, and out.
Blah.
Yeah, see, I didn't scream. No, it's true. All right. So this usually, a good friend of this is pericardium. No. Okay,
Yeah,
still?
that was a strong one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Normally we would look at spleen 6 and spleen 9 to add. We may still do that because the blood pressure combination is spleen 9 plus pericardium, meaning I check pericardium 8. And according to pericardium 8, if it's painful, I do pericardium 3 and 5. If it's not painful, well, if they like the pressure of pericardium 8, I would do what I call pericardium 4, which is 3 fingers below pericardium 3. If they don't mind, I might do 6. And if you know, some people you can either needle pericardium 8. No, don't worry. My preferred one generally is 6. Is 4 rather than 6. I prefer 4 over 6. There seems to be a shift. Kiiko used to do a lot more 4, and she does a lot more 6s. Okay, so I happen to, you know, it's like, that's what happens when you have a historical perspective. Sometimes you don't change in the same speed that someone else does. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Autonomic nervous system, is the triple warmer and
Yes, hold on.
But
That's
question is,
part of it.
would you start with that sometimes?
No.
Or first?
No, because too close to a symptom for one thing. First of all, I need to start with adrenal. I need to come, I will do that, but also if I do this time-wise, that means I have to leave her with these needles in and then flip the arm over. That's double the time. Kiiko will do that. Kiiko will do 3 treatments. front treatment, back treatment. I don't. So remember, it's always, to some extent, it's the survival of the practitioner too.
Or you don't prop the arm so that you can invoke? Like if she's like
No,
this.
you have to understand, triple warmer 8, I can do in this position. I don't, the point isn't around. It has to be, triple warmer can't even be like this. Triple warmer 8, some people don't like this position, and then I'll prop it in some manner, but I've got to at least needle it in this position, and then, but remember, pericardium and triple warmer are good friends. Okay, they're, so let's, any pain here?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Now, any pain here?
Yes.
Or a yes? There's a reason why I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, this one is more clear,
Yes.
right? Okay. Very common for people with clear autonomic nervous system disorders is that there'll be a discrepancy between the two sides. One is pain and one is not. Low blood pressure, generally speaking, doesn't show pericardium so clearly. High blood pressure is a little bit more likely to show pericardium, but don't take it as too much to heart. Okay. So we know that on this side I need 3 and 5. How is the neck right now?
Just at the lower bases.
At the lower bases, okay. Which is really spleen area for me. Okay. Now, how is lower base?
It's improved.
By how much?
I'll give it another 40-50%.
Give it another 40-50. She'll give us so many 40-50s, we'll be at 700%
Well,
very
it's
soon.
not 100.
Wait a second, but I was in the 1 point. So, how are we now? I think I was pressing on 4 instead of 3.
That's much better.
Okay. So, again, so you see the activation of the channel will do it, but if you get the best point, you're a little bit better off. Okay? Pericardium 3. This pericardium 3 is really at the center of the hole. It is not on the heart side, okay, for the TCM people. Okay, you may want to see my pericardium 3. See, yours would be a little bit here. Mine is totally in the center. 6. Okay. 5. 3 and 5. Water and metal, because she had fire point. Now I can move on to triple warming. And I'm going to do all first on this side. Normally, I should really do that pericardium first, but I'm sitting, I'm comfortable, whatever, no big deal. Relax the arm totally, don't do anything. I'm going to turn it for you right here. Very good. How is your neck?
It's just that right at that base.
At this one or this
This
one?
one, that one.
That one. So. She's smiling. Because up to now you've been kind of anticipating. This is the first, you've let go for the first time.
I'm actually feeling myself relax.
Yeah, good.
In my version of it. My version of it.
We each have our own versions of life. As Neil calls it, you each have your own movie. You star in your own movie. All right. How's Mr. 15?
He's almost there.
Almost there, okay. Prince Charming is coming. He's really happy. Okay, pericardium 4. That handle got identified. Have some playing with needle and relax. Totally don't do anything.
What did you do? Pericardium 4 on the right? Was
Yeah,
that
even
the
she.
right?
No, nothing to do with that. I'm still doing pericardium. Her pericardium 8 here was a little bit unclear. She thought maybe yes, but I went, because of the discrepancy, I would have preferred 4. You know, this is not a good demonstration of the dogma. The dogma would have been 3 and 5. But I like the discrepancy, so I did 4. And 4 made 15 very happy. So, yeah, how's the next one right now? It's not bothering you, so?
No, I mean, and also it bothers me when I'm palpating it as well, so it's almost like lying here is fine.
Okay. Because you already have the, well, okay. You can try, I don't know if you're willing to do it. Palpate you. No. Try. If it doesn't work, you let go. See, no big deal, right?
It's better, right? It doesn't have that hard.
Okay, how much is left? Better until it's gone, doesn't mean it's not good enough.
There's still like 20% left.
Okay, wait, hold on. Palpate again. How much percentage left?
It's like 10, just a little bit of
Just 10, hold on.
You can count it.
It's not gone until it's gone. How much is left?
It's stopping, there's still tiny.
Okay, hold on one second. You keep your hand there. Anything when I'm pressing? When I'm pressing. No.
Oh, what do you want me to do?
You just keep your hand there and tell me if there's any pain when I'm pressing. 1, 2, 3.
No, it's good.
Okay, fine. Yeah, keep your hand there. I'm going to ask you to palpate in a second. Okay, palpate. Okay, hold on. Okay.
So 1, 2, 3, you were checking.
Okay, so you mute. Okay, good. Here. So I can now palpate. You can let go. I can do the palpation.
So when you 1, 2, 3, you check the spine.
The spine itself. I just want to see if there's something on the cervical itself. Now I'm going to use stomach 9. Okay, so here, right? Okay. So that's a immune area. How? It's a little behind the immune area, but how's now?
It's much better.
Much better. Okay. So immune point, okay. For those of you, many of you said I want better palpation skills. One of the things I would suggest to you to do, you palpate the immune reflex, which is Sanjiao 16 area, and you go boom, boom, okay, so on her, boom, boom, boom. Okay, so I think here, right?
I feel it higher, but.
Okay, no,
Yeah,
here?
yes.
Okay, fine, here. Now, the pressure was towards her nose. Now I took the pressure off, but I kept my finger on the skin. Okay, my finger is only on the skin, it's not pressing, correct?
Yes.
I'm not lying, right? Okay. Now I poke on immune point, I think this one. And my left finger is poking immune point. My right hand is just feeling to see if there's changes happening. Well, it's not under the skin because it's above the skin from my perspective. It's, it's under her skin, but it's above mine, sort of thing. And so just by poking here and I feel a change, that's probably the correct immune point. How's now? Okay, she smiled. Okay. Now, it's a unique situation for the immune point that you can actually, without pressing, you can feel like dissolving above my finger in this case. That you can feel. It's not everywhere that you can do this kind of thing. Okay.
So whereabout do you usually look for the
immune point?
Yeah.
Between large intestine 11 and 10, but close to on the edge of the bone. Come. I'm going to hold the needle so you're not going to. I want you to feel the bone. It's the way the tissue connects to the bone that creates the immune point. Is that okay? She's not bothering with the needle?
It's a little bit of pain.
Oh no, so let's on the other side. Are you okay?
I'm okay.
You sure? So come. This is the bone. This is large intestine channel. I need to be. I'm not on the bone because that's triple walnut channel. So see, that's the bone. Okay. Can I suggest to you something? I want you a more solid base. And lean into the table or something. Yes, good. And you're using 3 fingers to touch, but you're using only 1 finger to really do the palpation. So don't go with 1 finger, go with all 3, but one of them is the active one. And it's up to you whether it's index or middle. Okay, okay. Now do what I suggested to you before. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Top 2. Okay. So do that and feel something here, or let her tell you, and then find a point that when you press, then let go of the pressure there, keep your hand there, and press here and see if you can feel something in your left hand. You should feel like something opening up once you do this. So just find what you need to find there. Which finger is it? Okay, middle, okay, fine.
Is it here?
Yes.
Okay, so don't press, just keep your hand on the skin and find the immune point. Do 1, 2, 3 here and see if you feel something in your middle finger on the left hand. Relax in the throat. Relax in the throat. Drop the chin.
I don't know how to do that.
I can suggest it to you. Do you feel?
So here maybe?
I don't know. You tell me what you feel in your left hand. My hands aren't there. Okay, once you feel something, you think something open, then you keep the pressure here and then press again there and confirm. It doesn't have, I mean, you know,
Did it change?
okay,
It's right.
it's still there. Okay, so you did. Okay, so I want you to develop a much faster way of doing it. Because if you think not only the patient can't think too much, you can't let yourself interfere also. Let me. Sorry. Here. There.
Not a lot,
Okay,
but
not a lot we don't
a
worry.
little bit.
Okay. How's now?
That's much better.
Much better. Okay. If you move too slow, the patient can't, they won't respond. This is, I just want to make it clear, this is an invasive, you are invading the person. This is not, hi, how are you? I'm doing gentle Japanese technique, you will never feel anything. This is aggressive, and you've got to accept that. Now you can make it more or less comfortable for the patient, but it is aggressive. Okay? Those of you who've seen Kiiko, you know she is not the, I don't know how to say it the most polite way, she's not a meek person, let's put it this way. Okay? It's a style that has a certain kind of power to it. So if you try and moderate maybe too much, like say to your Harvey, you're in my opinion, I'm okay with you mixing the style after you've done it. Don't do it up front. Does that make sense? So, and again, remember, the first 10 years of any kind of practice is imitation. Okay? So if you're going to imitate, you're going to imitate whoever you learned it from. Okay? Do I look to you like so you're going to have to find a way within yourself to imitate that, and at one point you're going to say, fuck this is crap. This is not me, and you're going to bring yourself to it. Now this can happen in 2 weeks and it can happen in 10 years, I don't know. But if you start by latching onto this very gentle da-da-da, I'm just letting you know, it's the chances of it not working. Having worked with many people who do this like that, they're the ones who don't get it. Because they're not opening up to, let yourself with a little bit of aggressive energy, it's okay. Okay, I'm serious. I took a photograph of myself. I look like I'm like I can be very like nice. I took a photograph of myself and I cut it in half and duplicated the right side and then duplicated the left side, so I get the right side twice, but as if it's me, and the left side twice as if it's me. One side looks like I belong in some monastery, blah, blah, blah. And the other side looks like I'm a football player. Okay, every single person has a football player in them. And every single person has like a little Asian nun, you know. You've got to find both aspects and work with both in your own way, okay? So I know it's hard because if you're trained to everything should be very subtle and very da-da-da, it does make it hard, you know, to suddenly have a little more pressure.
I'm used to giving it more time.
Yeah. Don't give it time. The more time you give it, the more fucked up it is. No, really. I mean, it's confusing. It's got to have... Somebody who worked in my clinic said to me, oh, I know what you're doing. You're just confusing them. The whole point is just to confuse them. They're just so confused. They're so overwhelmed. They don't know what to say anymore. And there's some truth to that. But you've got to be in that sort of, you know, you can't... You're giving them enough control by letting them tell you what's going on. But you can't give them control to stop thinking. Because then it's the mind. And this technique is not about the mind. This technique is about the fascia. Now, how do you get the fascia to talk through the mouth? You know, it's a little bit difficult, but that's kind of where we're moving towards. Is that fair? Mm-hmm. All right. Any questions about her up to now?
Can you explain again the GB26?
Ah, okay. Originally, brain 9 pulse, we said stomach 24. Okay, but first of all, in her case, there's no way you can use. Well, afterwards, we're over here. I feel that but I don't feel the pulsing. Okay, and I still feel that the pulse doesn't disappear so easily in general. Okay. Because she has brain 9 pulse, actually this point's a little bit too low in my opinion, but originally we said right side 24 for brain 9 pulse. Why? Stomach 24 name is slippery flesh gate. Okay? You have a slippery flesh here. Okay? But by the way, I still want to I need to check our cardiac, which I think I'll actually still do on this side. Because of, this was the original point, but there's also, because it's a weakness in the aorta, it's a weakness in the blood vessels, weakness in the heart, and especially remember I told you hers extends all the way up, meaning it's a little bit more serious than just, oh, I'm a little worried and a little sad, worried, whatever, isn't contained in my heart, spilling out. This is, she's got more, there's more serious stuff going on here, more strong. It will show in left spleen 20. Okay. Left spleen 20, remember when we first started and I didn't explain it, I said, you know, for shoulder, you can release with gallbladder 26. Gallbladder 26 releases the pectoralis. Okay. So this is almost like offering some space structurally in order to relieve the cardiac. The real treatment for cardiac is not this. Okay. So one of the biggest checks for cardiac is, don't help me. Okay, thank you. Is that okay? Anything? Oh yeah, you read that.
Where are you looking at?
Small intestine 11. Small intestine 11 is, on the left side, is pathognomonic of heart issues. Okay, it doesn't mean she has heart disease. Okay. But it means energetically she has some weakness, because she has to have some weakness in the heart, in the cardiac system, in order to show the pulsing so extended. Okay. So here, right? Okay. You originally had Ren 6, right? Sorry. But Ren 4, you don't mind, is that correct?
I don't, what do you mean by I don't mind it? I just...
You oh, Ren 6, you mind. This is not fabulous, but semi-okay?
Yes.
Okay, fine. And I'm semi-okay. How's small intestine 11?
It's improved. It's a little bit line still underneath, but I can still.
Okay. So I would need a Ren 4. Ren 4 is one of our major points for cardiac, as well as autoimmune disorders. Okay.
So you expect to find SI11 changes?
I expect, if SI11 changes by Ren 4, I want to needle it, because one of the things that she has, in my opinion, is some weakness in the heart. Okay? That the neck is okay right now. Okay, good. We'll give you a few more minutes. Any other questions?
Do you find that right stomach 24 is enough often to release the left spleen 20? Or do you usually add?
Was that a... No. The truth, real truth, stomach 24 is not my best resonating point.
Mm.
So I do it, but it's... I'm still in a place where I'm trying to build up my oomph with it.
Mm.
And I've been doing it for years. So there's, you've got to accept that certain things are just not your thing. And you may, just like stomach G, you may never, it just isn't some people's thing. Some years stomach G is for me, some years it isn't. I would tend to, to be honest with you, I didn't want to go there, but there's enough people here who've been to classes before. I would use Mushu, the trochanter point.
Mm. For
the pulsing.
For the pulsing.
And for spleen 20. And GB26, I told you, in my opinion, GB26 is structural, less important in some ways. It's just giving it the space. I would probably go for the Mushu over 24, and then I would add 24. But if I did that, I would be so in violation of the official protocol. It's a little. She's the first patient. Come on. I want to show you something that looks a little fair. Somewhat fair game. As opposed to like, okay, this is Avi going totally crazy, which is basically what this technique is about. You have to make it up as you go along. And that's why people complain. People are always saying, I don't understand what Kiiko's doing, because it's like you can't get a patient on the table and have them work according to the handout. It just doesn't happen that way. That only happens in the TCM world in communist China. Where it really doesn't matter what the patient said or didn't say because, you're writing the paper. So, it's like the patient's going to show whatever they show, and the point is going to show wherever they show, and then you have to argue, is it 7 or 9? So, I was trying to, since she's the first demonstration, I'm trying to show you a little bit more protocol. But ultimately, my hope is that by the time we finish tomorrow, you'll know that the protocols are in the book, and you'll say, screw the protocol. All that matters is, and how can I keep thinking and invent new ways? That's the important thing. Kiiko style, for me, is not use this point for this. There's tons of it in the Kiiko style, absolutely. Kiiko style is a method of thinking, and I can't say that mine is the same as hers necessarily. But I can say that it's a method of thinking that's always striving to find more. Now, is that a definition of the style? Barely. So I'm leaving it very, very open, because over the years I've also seen Kiiko use totally different things. Every 2 or 3 years, Kiiko will come out, well actually almost every year. Now even she says it that way. She said, oh, this year my favorite point is blah, blah, blah. And she says, like I don't use the same point, it's like, and people sometimes will say to her, Kiiko, why don't you use this point? She's like, okay, she doesn't even, what the hell uses this point? And it's like, well, listen, 15 years ago, that was your favorite point. What do you mean you don't remember? It's like, it doesn't interest her right now. So the style is always evolving, always changing. It's not do this for this, because how come she could treat people successfully 15, 20 years ago with points that she doesn't use anymore, or many of them she doesn't, and she can ignore these points or not use the points that are now God. This point is the most important point. We never heard of this point before. We had patients got better. It's not the point. It's the way of thinking. It's the commitment for me. It's the commitment to keep searching and to keep being inventive and keep having different images of the body and trying them out. It's the experimentation that to me is exciting about this. Because protocols, I guarantee you that Richard Tan has probably I don't know, but I believe that his protocols are probably as good. What do I know? I don't try them. But, I can't say Kiiko is the only successful practitioner in the world. God forbid, don't say this. But, it's like, there's tons of wonderful practitioners. And some of them needle stomach 36, like in a way that I wouldn't let them needle me to save my life. But they're fantastic practitioners. It's not the point. It's the method of, it's that excitement of thinking that attracts me. So that's what I'm trying to give you. And along the way I'll give you as much dogma as I possibly can. But look, listen to how I'm expressing it. It's dogma. You know, who wants to learn dogma? That's not exciting. So everything that I do is really about making myself think and make connections and make my life interesting while I'm making them better.
When you did left Sanjiao 8,
Yes.
you were continuing to palpate the left side of her neck, as opposed to
Yeah.
the right side?
Because I wasn't palpating the SCM.
Okay.
I was palpating in the back. The Sanjiao 8 does a good job for the back, same side, the neck, cervical, same side, and good job for the SCM opposite side.
Okay.
But, okay, here's Avi's tenet on Kiiko's work. Okay? It doesn't matter what the point is supposed to release. If the point is the right point, it will release anything. If it's crucial for the person, in other words, if it treats the underlying issue, her underlying issue, I believe, is autonomic nervous system connected to cardiac. If the point is going to tap into this, it will fix her knee pain. It will fix something that no one ever heard of this point addressing it. Because you're not doing this for this, you're doing this for the person. And then the person, having gotten some space, is addressing the symptom. Does that make sense? So I can't say, you know, that's what I'm saying. Don't do, okay, so liver 4, lung 5, next, adrenal, kidney 6, because that's going to prevent you from addressing the whole person. You're never going to know which point is really moving something deep within the person, deep enough to offer them space. So yes, follow the protocols, and yes, violate them all the time. Okay? It's a difficult balance, and it's strange because, you know, this is, I'm allowing myself to do this so early in the class because enough of you have been to see Kiiko or have worked with Tak. I mean, you have enough base to be able to, it may not be comfortable, but you have enough to you know, and it's okay, I'll give you enough also. So, and keep asking questions, it's okay. Anything more?
What's
Yes.
the relevance of direct moxibustion for the success of the treatment?
Very relevant. For her, the only point I would have really insisted on would have probably been the immune point. Moxa is a way to further, first of all, okay, I had a clinic partner who said, you're wasting your time doing Moxa. He said, you get good results without the Moxa, why bother? And in my opinion, two things. Number one, the Moxa makes it stronger, in my opinion, because it dissolves the needle breaks the connective tissue and aligns it. This is my imagination, right? I can't say that's exact. The Moxa sort of opens it up and dissolves it. So Moxa is extremely powerful, okay? And especially deficient type, I always want to add Moxa. I always want to do more Moxa, okay? The more Moxa you do, the more likely the treatment will stay. That's my experience. I will probably do Moxa on her back though, anyway. I mean, not that I shouldn't do, but because we're talking and stuff, I'm letting go. So really, right now, from everything, because she's not called anywhere, I didn't find any dents, I didn't, you know, I'm okay. By the way Kiiko works, or used to work, I can't say now, but she used to stand and she used to have the separate treatment rooms upstairs and downstairs, and she, you know, the patient would come and somebody would show them to the room and she'll sit in the kitchen and she'll go, this one, so whichever room they were on, you know, she'll point in the direction of the room. Moxa, this. She hasn't seen that person that day. It doesn't matter, she already knows. So she does lots of Moxa. And then after the Moxa, she does the needles. And then more Moxa. So it's a very direct Moxa intensive. It's direct, it's not, I'll show you. So huge amounts of Moxa. So yes, I think Moxa is extremely important, but some people also won't do it. It's the dexterity. You know, I enjoy doing the Moxa. A lot of people don't. A lot of people hate dealing with it. They don't like the feel of it. They don't like the. It's too much handwork, whatever. For me, it's like it's calming. For me, lots of people really hate it. So that's why when I teach, I don't make too big a show out of it, which is actually a contradiction because, it's like, I was Kiiko's moxa boy, and I'm like, now I tell the moxa people, like, you need to do moxa on this one, and it's kind of unfair because then I'm basically just contradicting what I just said, which is a disservice. But yeah, on her, right now, just immune points.
And why would you choose immune and not the autonomic nervous system points?
Because Sanjay is not really a moxa. Okay, there's a problem here. Certain points are moxa points, immune point is a moxa point by tradition. So that's any point, so for example, spleen 3, lung 8, any point that's the element on the element is usually a moxa point. Okay? Liver 5 is a moxa point. Spleen 5, although it's not an earth point, it's a moxa point. Immune point is a moxa point. Large intestine 15 is a moxa point. By the way, of all these points, large intestine 15 and liver 5, when we do moxa, we want the patient to feel 5 or 6 little mosquito bites, little ouchies. Liver 5 and large intestine 15, we want them to feel 21. It's a long time doing moxa. So I'm just giving you a list of points for moxa. If I had done REN 12 on her, I probably would have liked to do moxa. Not necessarily Kyotoshin. So it's a little bit of, it's a game that you play, and it's something you get over time. And that really is why use moxa or not is, in my opinion, talking to other people who use the style, it's a super individual decision because so many of us don't use moxa at all. Not everybody works like Tucker or like Kiiko with 10 people running around after them. Like, yes, sir. You work for Kiiko, your hands are like, you look like you've been smoking for 50 years after 2 days. It's kind of like it's moxa the whole day, all the time, moxa. I work alone, so I limit myself to how much moxa I do, and I don't like assistants. I've never liked assistants. It doesn't work for me. Blah blah blah. So it's just not my style. For other people, it's easy to do moxa because it's like they'll do it 1 or 2 a day because it's kind of fun for them to do it for a moment. But they have someone else do it for them. So I don't do quite as much, and I know lots of people. Like a good friend of mine works in a hospital. It doesn't matter that it doesn't smell. You can do moxa, period. It's a done deal. So, yeah. So, up to you. Where's the
So you go more with the
cotton balls.
You will pick more, so you limit the number of points you moxa because of time. And so in your prioritization, you go more with the traditionally moxad points rather than the points that are crucial.
If I'm going to make yeah.
It's like crucial.
A crucial point is not necessarily a moxa, doesn't call for moxa.
Okay, that's my question.
Yeah, no. For example, I believe kidney was crucial for her.
Right.
That it's usually, kidney can be a moxa point, but it's not like huge, oh wow, it must be moxa. Immune point, usually, I did immune point automatically, I do moxa, except for immune.
Do you automatically moxa liver 1?
Yes. Yeah. Wood and wood. I already answered that question. Why are you asking again? No, I'm kidding. Yeah. Liver 1, especially this one in the center, is definitely for sure moxa. Because Yamjitsu, you see, Kiiko has different sources than I do. Kiiko says that traditionally it was supposed to be, it's true that the definition is whatever, X amount, 3 fen above the hairline or something like that. Therefore she says it's got to be in the center because nobody has hair on the side. If you're going to have hair, it's going to be in the center. The problem with that is that according to Yamjitsu, this liver 1 is a moxa liver 1, and the other, and she used to say there's 4 of them anyway, 3 on the side and 1 in the center. According to the way I studied, the center one is a moxa point. It was used more like for hernia. I'm not saying it's not a good point, and the other ones were not, were not so good. So let's first of all, let's have you sit up and tell me how your neck is. Do we have garbage? No, it's fine. There is a... Just about to know it is. Thank you.
Yeah, that heavy tightness
Uh-huh.
is gone. There's just a little bit just more.
Okay, let's have you lie down face down.
Face down.
use the headrest or not. Totally up to you.
You want a pillow for the knees?
Hmm?
My pillow here?
Oh, sure. Actually, I prefer a bolster under the knees also when I face up.
For what?
A bolster under the knees, because otherwise if the legs are straight, it's after a while it's uncomfortable to lie down. You know, most people would prefer the knees teeny bit bent. No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Okay. Yes. Here. Now, so just to show you, if you're quote-unquote beginner, and again, don't take it as an insult, I'm just saying, the best way to deal with it, don't even think, you just go down the spine. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
2 again.
2. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to check. 1, 2, 3, 4.
1.
1. Okay, I'll need to mark them because I won't remember by now. 1, 2, this tape there. 4.
I think it's
This thinner one, if possible. Yeah. Sorry?
I forgot.
Okay, no problem. 4, 3, 2, 1. Confused. 1. Okay. Okay, let's start from the beginning here. No, it's easy. Honestly. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, you said?
4.
Okay. And 1, 2. I remember some things, but then you discover that you remember something totally wrong. I believe it was here too. And here? Or here?
That one.
This, the second one?
This, the one you're on right now.
This one, okay. One, 2, 3, 4.
Ooh, 3.
3, ooh, 3, okay. Here, right? Or more here?
3. Or whatever that first one.
Okay. Okay. Right side. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2. 1, 2, 3, 4.
1.
One, 2, 3, 4.
2.
2.
Yes.
One, 2, 3, 4.
1.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Either 1 or 2.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1 or 2?
2.
2. Above Mingman. Okay, not Mingman. I would have expected Mingman because of her pulsing. I would have said maybe Mingman, but maybe outside Mingman?
Yes.
This one?
Yes.
Because, remember, she's adrenal type, so I expect kidneys to be a little bit unhappy. How about this one? Ooh, you hate that. So you be 23, so situation. Okay. And you have small intestine 11, right? And how about 1, 2, 3, 2. Okay, so now let's look at what she has. Let's just discuss that for a second. So she has something autonomic nervous system type things, upper thoracics. Okay, excuse me, yeah, you know, so-called Shen disturbance sort of style.
Fair enough.
Okay, by the way, you didn't come and say, by the way, I'm a little disturbed in the Shen. Okay, then she has T7. Okay, now T7 is diaphragm shu, and it's also, we'll talk about that, because we used to call UB17 slightly above, slightly outside, we used to call autonomic nervous system shu. That was an old phrase, and I'll talk about that in a second. Then it looks like sort of livery-ish area, I'm not exactly sure what that is. Then this looks like maybe sugar, T11, T12 is sugar, okay? And then she has the UB23s. Okay, then she has here, right?
Are you on the outer shoe there?
I'm on the inner border of the scapula, yeah, on the outer shoe. You said yes, and it's more distant than that. I'm going to start with this, strangely enough. Okay, the reason why is because this to me represents autonomic nervous system. It's a good place. This is me, not Kiiko, just so you know. I'm trying to distinguish all the time, because what will happen is you go to Kiiko and say, Kiiko, das du tu da blah blah. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? So you know, don't ask her something that comes from somewhere else, because you know this is my you know. Do 2 is very good for autonomic nervous system, and the first place I check it against is left UB42, 43 area. Okay, so I'm pressing U2 with the direction of the do upwards. How is UB42?
Better.
Happier?
Yes.
How happy?
Very happy.
Very happy. Okay, cool. Okay, next. I keep this in mind. I want you to tell me, I'm going to go on the right side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which is the worst?
2 is the worst.
2. Okay, 2. Do 2. How's 2?
It's a little bit lingering there.
A
but
little
it's,
bit lingering. How much better?
Well, over 50, over 60.
Okay. How's 1?
1 is fine.
How is 3?
3 is fine.
How is 4?
4 is fine.
And 5?
5 fine.
Okay, so only one, some lingering. Okay, fabulous. Left side, you have, I'm not pressing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Which one's the worst?
3.
T7, okay. How's 3 now?
It's much better.
Much better, okay. And 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. Who's unhappy?
You have to do it again.
Sorry?
You have to do it again, but it's one of the upper ones.
One of the upper ones? Okay,
Yeah,
that was
okay,
fair.
just
Okay,
like
that was
those.
fair. Okay, no problem. 2, 1 and 2.
1.
1 is still left, okay. So 1 is still left and this side 2 is still left. Fabulous, no problem. So that to me is an important point. Okay, I didn't fix this one, this one, this one, this one. I'm like, how can I do the whole thing? Okay, now, one thing that's interesting to me is like this L5 thing. So the first one, and because our whole autonomic nervous system is so, you're not originally from this area, are you? From Canada, are you?
I was born in the Philippines, but I moved here when I was 8 months old.
Oh, okay, fine. Okay. The reason I'm asking is because, you know, here slipping on ice is very normal. You know, if she's from the Philippines, I don't think they slip on the ice there. So I think maybe the reason why part of the nervous system, I want to check that she didn't injure the tailbone. Okay, so I'm not checking with clothes off ever. Tailbone, not just here, also in my clinic. Nobody wants you to poke on their tailbone without something there. Okay, so any pain?
Just, yes.
This one.
Yes.
Okay, so sorry. UB66. How's now?
It's good.
Okay. You had stubborn number 2 here. How's now?
It's better.
Okay, and this one, number 1 here. How?
It's better.
Even up the opposite side. Okay, so I'm just thinking, Jesus, you know, I think she's got so much in the spine. This is a little bit much on the spine. I'm thinking maybe if she fell on her tailbone, the whole spine went berserk. I want to fix the tailbone first before I needle do 2. Do 2 is a very important point for me for autonomic nervous system. Okay, it's the tailbone. So if you all stand up for a moment. Not you. Oh yeah, I'll show you. There will be a video. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to stand with your feet slightly apart. What I want you to do is I want you to tuck the tailbone under. You know? and feel, yeah, you don't have to get too much about it, but just tuck the tailbone under and just stand there and feel for a second what that feels like. Don't contract your buttocks though to do it. So you may need to do it in order to get this tailbone through and then release the buttock. Now I want you to stick your tailbone out, back. Okay, and feel. What does, can someone describe, let go, and now let it just drop down. What does that feel like? Yeah, very interesting.
What does that mean?
We'll talk. Okay, somebody want to tell me what it feels like between this and this?
This felt heavy.
Okay.
This felt lighter.
Okay.
Grounded with the tailbone.
More grounded, okay.
The low back is more open with the tailbone.
Okay. That was thinking, that's not how you feel. This is, I mean, you might feel that also, but I meant feel like mentally what it does for you.
Is it more exposed?
Hmm?
More exposed with the tailbone? More protected with the tailbone? More secure?
Maybe. Okay.
I have more tension in my low back with it tailbone out.
Yeah, so, and some people will be the opposite.
But the abdomen opens nicely, actually.
What happens is if you're tucking the tailbone under it, you're going to feel like people said more grounded, more solid. I mean, that'll be good qualities. You can also say more stuck for bad qualities. I mean, you can take it either way. But tucking the tailbone under is going to make you feel more heavy, like you said. And doing this makes you want to like go somewhere, you know, so you use the word light, for example. So it changes your nervous system, the way your tailbone. The way Kiiko will talk about it is, you know, which I don't, because it does, I mean, we're humans, we're not dogs, it doesn't make sense to me personally, but if you look at a dog, their tailbone, the tail shows you what they feel, you know, do they walk with the tail under or do they wag their tail sort of thing. So the tailbone affects the whole nervous system. Okay, it kind of makes sense, obviously, you know, because it affects the whole spine. So, number one, tailbone injury, but also due to is a fabulous point for anyone with autonomic nervous system disorders. Okay, it's like one of my main points. I mean, if somebody asked me, give me a protocol to do on the back for everyone, you know, due to sacroiliac, I'll show you in a minute what sacroiliac is, you know, maybe L5, that's a little bit more recent, T11, T7, T5, that will be bang, do this on everyone, you'll get results. You don't need to think, okay? Why? Because due to releases the whole spine, T11 and T5 and T7, T7 is a diaphragm, we'll talk about that in a second. T5 and T11 are these curves in the spine. There are places in the spine where there are shifts in the curve, and T5 and T11, 12 are those places where there's shifts that are going to affect the whole spine. The treatment on the back is different than the treatment on the front. There's not as, the system is a lot less, is much simpler. You don't have all these meridians, there's not a lot to work with here. It's basically releasing the nervous system, primarily releasing the nervous system, not all. So it's much, often we will needle the reflexes on the back, which we generally won't do on the front. Okay? So,
sorry, T5 and T11 are the two...
T5 and 11 are places where the curve, the lordotic, kyphotic nerve curves shift. So they're very powerful places. Okay? So, I dropped this to fix the tailbone before I do 2-2. Her do 2 was not painful, the tailbone is underneath that it's painful. Okay? So, pain, right? Or more here?
It was more lateral.
Sorry?
Oh,
This one.
if you're doing it now, it's not so bad. When you did it before, it was. There.
And you're on the right bladder 26.
Yeah, because I'm slightly more to the right here. But I'll do both, don't worry. How's now?
It helps a lot.
Lot. Okay. I usually do it both sides. I am so sorry.
Yep.
And I'm truly, truly sorry again. I know you don't believe me. Okay. Now let's see what's left. This one?
Just put just something under.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
1 or 2.
1 or 2, okay. And better than before?
They're better
Or
than
not?
before.
Okay, fine. 1 and 2. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. Okay. Fine. You're consistent. That's perfect. Okay. How is kidney shoe and kidney shoe?
Still something is there.
Something.
There's still something underlying there. So.
Okay. Now, so do you see how her spine is like in a valley here? Okay. Usually it's more pronounced here. This is an indication of what we call sacroiliac. So you go into the sacrum, I go in the center of the sacrum, and I just slide my hand to the outside. Okay? And I'll find like tightness here, right?
Yes.
Okay, so sorry. How's kidney shoe?
It's better.
How much is left?
That's really good.
It's really good. Okay. My angle is towards opposite side GB26, but eventually, even though I'm doing this, eventually because the ligament is tighter than my needle, it will probably look like I did it at It will look like I did it at 90 degrees, but I'm really aiming it here. Okay.
You're aiming at GB26?
Opposite GB26. Otherwise, they would be.
Originally right to the outside.
Yeah, I would say I'm really doing the ligaments. Okay. Then this, by the way, how really better?
Yes.
Wonderful. And this one here, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now Kiiko has replaced sacral. Well, no, she wouldn't say that. It appears to me, no, because she really wouldn't. We used to do lots of sacroiliac ligaments. She almost never does them nowadays, from what I'm observing in the last 2 years. She does a lot of L5s. I tend to do both because I'm backwards. I haven't released myself from the past. So you go in the sacrum, just slide over and look. Oh,
Yeah.
so sorry. Hi.
It's good.
It's good. Now, needling technique. I do not do this. Sorry. I don't rotate. Sometimes you have to rotate a little bit to get the needle through, but oh, I'm so sorry. I basically just move it up and down. So, you just, because I'm trying to break down connective tissue, I'm not trying to spin the connective tissue through. Now, obviously here I'm already in a muscle. You can, it's a little different. But basically the stimulation of the needle is very mild and very just tick, 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 tick. Okay? Next. Kidneys are happy. Yeah? All right. And you still have number 2. 2 and 2 and 1. They're good?
Yeah.
Okay, fabulous. So, now we do fluff. Okay, now we take insurance. No. Things are done. I don't have reflexes anymore now, and I'm in a class, blah, blah, blah. I can, I have the leisure of, because now, and plus, don't forget she has a neck. Okay? You said here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, often T5 does a great job for neck, and thankfully she didn't have a problem there, although on the back I'm allowed to needle. How is now?
Sure. It's good.
It's
Yes.
really good.
Yeah.
Okay. So she doesn't like percentages, but she likes really good. Now, big difference between me and Kiiko, so you know in terms of how I needle. Kiiko nowadays needles the Watos 45 degrees upwards as if they were the dew. I needle them towards the spine. So you choose, totally your option, okay? And the reason I keep telling you that is to give you the options, rather than think there's only one way to do it.
And what's your reason to...
My
to
reason?
spine?
That's how I was trained, I don't know. I got stuck somewhere where it's at 45 degrees this way. She used to do it this way also. And she's changed. She now prefers 45 degrees upwards. I've tried it, I haven't seen that for me personally that it made it more effective. I'm sure there was a reason why she changed it. So some things, that's why I'm giving you more options, because I'm saying, well, if somebody does it, then I want them to know. I want you to know so you have the option. Traditionally, the way I was trained, the Watos were needle 45 degrees in. And I've tried I don't see a huge amount of difference between upwards and 45 degrees in, and I figured And do what was comfortable, you know, it's like I'm mentally stuck somewhere, why not? Yeah? This one better.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Cool. So we could do some moxa with moxa here, and we might as well, I was going to say maybe because of the shirt I wouldn't, but yeah, let's do that. So I would actually, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the first time I see that.
Very convenient, because then you don't have to touch anything. It's the cream. You've seen the cream? I just put it in an injector. Yeah, I know, but you know, like this makes your hands dirtier.
Yeah.
So first time is always a little weird. Let's talk about the hands getting dirty and the whole thing's going to splash over and something. Come on! Too cold. Too cold anymore. In Toronto.
Take a needle, maybe poke it in the pocket.
No, here it comes. Yeah. It's in sticks first. No, there is one, that's cool, if not. Okay, so the trick about doing moxa, I don't know how many of you have done this kind of moxa. Is very light in the hands and keep it light. It's not important the shape of the moxa, it's not important that it's perfect shape and it's small or anything like that. That's totally irrelevant. What's important is that it's airy. So if you press it too much with your hands, you're compressing it and you're putting your sweat into it. And you don't want to put your sweat into it because it will burn too hot. See, this one's pretty big. Now she's going to scream because she knows it's big.
No.
Hold on, it isn't over yet. Until the fat moxa sings. Got away with it. So it's about fluffiness and easefulness more than anything else, not the size of the moxa. This is huge, but what I'll do is stomp it out midway. Kiiko seems to like this style right now better. I don't really like it, it burns your fingers. But I had a big one, so I didn't have an option. You know. Are you feeling?
Yes.
It's okay, not too much? Okay, sorry. Two more. Keep it right. Probably 93. So if you're somebody who has sweaty hands, you can't have nice clothes in your clinic. And you've got to wipe your hands all the time.
Paper towel or something?
Whatever you want. I literally do it like this. So, now, the other place I would want to do moxa for her is small intestine 11. Here?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. And I could do more than one, but I think one would be okay. She doesn't have a huge gummy there.
You'll use REN4 to release only left small intestinal.
Usually, if it's for cardiac issues, yeah.
Yeah.
There is a strong connection between the two because it's small intestine channel and small intestine move. But there's a strong connection between REN12 and small intestine 11 in terms of for both sides. Both sides is really more digestive issues. So I would use this to clear the, if you talk about busy abdomen, if it's busy abdomen with someone who's like, has lots of digestive issues, I would do this. I may find a big bubble here or something and surround it, or something like that. I wouldn't just do moxa. I would actually needle. But for cardiac, See, the other thing is for cardiac, you can't stimulate small intestine 11. You have to stimulate something else first, get the circulation going, because otherwise you're stimulating the heart, and there may be some blockage here, because this is right behind the heart, sort of thing. I can't push the heart if I didn't pull the energy elsewhere first. Does that make sense? So, so cardiac type, I'm not going to turn them over, do small intestine 11 first, just for the sake of it, you know, to clear the abdomen, and then expect them to feel good, because they actually may feel, you know, it's like, okay, everything's here, it's trying to move, but it's shut. So.
But for right small intestine 11, you wouldn't...
Right small intestine 11 I can do, for cardiac also. Yeah, I can immediately do that. Is that the question?
No, I was thinking more right for liver stuff.
Yeah, it's not so much for liver, even though small intestine 11 is officially gallbladder reflex or treatment point also for gallbladder on the right side, but it's digestion in general. So when someone comes and they have like a lot of bloating, you can turn them over, do small intestine 11,
Usually
then turn them
bilateral.
back. But yes, yes. Yeah, I'm a little primitive, I just blow it. Now, I just saw this, those of you who don't like this, let's see if I can show, I understand that Sawada's moxa was like this, and this you can actually push. I don't know how I'm going to do this exactly, hold on. Let's see if this will work. I understand that Sawada did something like this. Oops, no, without it going onto the skin. It's the first time I've actually done it practically, so I don't really know, but I've seen it.
What is the purpose?
You take the moxa, instead of putting it on the skin, you hold it just up. You hold it with the insect stick off. Instead of having to put it on the skin, it's a little safer and easier. Because if you put it on the skin, it has to be fluffy and not hurting. This way, the other method is it's a little easier for. It's just easier. So I'm told. I'm just so used to this, I don't care. So what you've seen up to now is that for the neck itself, her main complaint is neck. I basically did one thing for the neck, T5, which I can say is really for our autonomic nervous system. It's heart shoe area, right? So there's nothing in here that really addresses her neck per se, except what I told you was fluff. So it's a different way of thinking that they're trying to trigger. I'm always looking. That's why it's like this class is called pain syndrome gynecology, neurology, whatever. It's irrelevant what the class is called. Seriously, people come for pain. It's like, they always, when I teach, they say, well, on day one, will you do, what? Can you give us a schedule? It's like, well, whatever gets on the table, it's irrelevant. And treat your patients the same way. It's irrelevant. It's very relevant what they came for, but you can't treat just what they came for. You've got to treat the person. Look at everything in consideration of what they have. What they have may be part of the Constitution or not. I don't know. You can't tell in advance.
Do you think we could have some, are we going to have a lunch now?
Shoot. Yes, right now. I thought it was 12 something. I'm so sorry.